So your hair's getting pretty long though.
Yeah. One of these days I'm gonna have it cut in like 10 years and all of our fans are gonna be like, who's the new guy?
Yeah.
It'll probably be a little more dramatic than that, I hope.
I mean,
but if I do cut my hair and we have thousands and thousands and maybe even millions of fans, I will sell hair follicles. $5 a pop.
that'd be good.
Yeah.
So the question that we have today is a common question that you have probably heard before and have probably heard people talk about before.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
Probably not.
I doubt it.
Definitely, you've never heard this question before or people talk about it.
There's 100%
Till today.
chance this is the first time you're hearing this question.
100% chance. If you have heard this before, you're either me or Seth, and that's not possible.
So there's a famous quote out there, allegedly famous quote, that says that we are who we pretend to be, by this guy named Kurt Vonnegut. I'm sure I'm messing that up, so.
Kurt Vonnegut.
You can go ahead and rip me in the comments for not being able to pronounce this last name. But I believe he dropped this quote in one of his novels.
Kurt, good old Kurt.
It begs the question, are we really who we pretend to be? And if so, what does that actually mean? What do we do with that information?
Yeah, you actually texted me this quote, I think a week ago.
Oh yeah, I did, didn't I?
And I read it, and I let probably an hour go by, I think, and then I was like, dude, what does this mean? And Seth said, and I quote, by me explaining to you what it means, I feel I would be depriving you of the realization or something.
No, that's not what I said. What I said was very well thought out. I said, by me telling you what this should mean to you, I'm robbing you of what it could mean to you.
By him telling me what it means to me would be robbing me of what it could mean to me.
Which I thought was very...
Which, here I am 7 days later and I still have no idea what it is, and which I'm glad is why we're talking about it today.
Yeah.
Because I would love to get some sleep and stop thinking about this dang quote. So we are who we pretend to be.
Are we?
Oh, it's are we who we pretend to be?
Yeah, just because some guy dropped it in a novel doesn't necessarily mean it's law.
Yeah, I don't know who this Kurt guy is.
I don't either.
Is he a scholar?
I think he is a scholar.
Oh. Well, still.
He's an author, or a novelist.
Are we who we pretend to be? So, I'm thinking about, okay, what sticks out to me the most in the question, in the quote, is pretend to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that does resonate with me because as people, really only we know our true self.
Yeah.
And God.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time we go through the day portraying somebody that we want other people to see. It's just like social media.
Yeah.
You don't post pictures of your life, you post highlights of the best parts of your life.
You try to craft how you want to be perceived to your fans and other people in the world.
When you're at the gym getting swole, you don't take a picture before you go into the gym. Like about to go to the gym, you take that mirror pic at the end after your chest is huge and you're all veiny and sweaty and you look 3 times bigger. That's when you take the picture because that's what you want people to see.
Yeah.
You want them to see your best self, not who you actually are.
Yeah. And what I think this boils down to is like, you gotta think about who would we actually be if there was no like social influences, no social pressure to like go to school, get a job, go to work, like brush our hair, cut our hair, shave our face, or do anything. So I think what it means is like, we are who we pretend to be because every day we are pretending to be something or someone. Because I don't necessarily know that anything we do or anything we spend time on or anything is actually like our raw selves.
I just got really depressed. Because every day I go to work as an employee and I would, in my head, that's just what I'm doing right now. But what you're saying is that's what I'm pretending to be, so that's what I am. I'm an employee.
I think that's the risk. I don't necessarily want to make this about you, but I think like...
That's what I'm hearing, and I'm not liking it.
I think
I think you're onto something though.
Well,
Because every day, if you do something, even though you may not associate with that, that's who you are. That's what you do. Like if you're I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Let's say you work at a retail store, only part-time, 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
And on the side, you are an artist. You paint. You may not tell people you work at a retail store, Abercrombie and Fitch perhaps, but you do work at a retail store, and you need to accept that's part of who you are, because that is what you do every day.
Yeah. So a lot of people watching this video probably heard of the law of attraction if they haven't heard of this quote that we're talking about today. And basically,
yeah, what's the law of attraction?
The law of attraction, and goodness, I'm the wrong person to give you like a perfect definition of this, but basically it says that ourselves and our minds has the power to attract into our lives what we want. So if we set our focus and our intention on something that we want to manifest into our life, we have the ability to attract that into our life.
So it's not pertaining to like opposites attract or two birds of a feather.
Basically,
that's what I was thinking of.
What it says is like if you're homeless, for example, you have attracted that into your life by having thoughts that created that reality for you. If you're flying around in a private jet every day, the reason you're doing that is because you had thoughts and you concentrated and you focused on what you wanted to manifest.
To be that person for so long, it became who you are. Okay.
So that's kind of like what we're talking about here. Like, and then I think this is relevant for us and for probably people watching this, because we're all trying to break out of the day job, the W-2 income, and create our own business, create our own life, create our own future, create, everything in our life. So
scratching and clawing to get out.
Yeah, so I think any tool that like something mental like this, where this is helpful for me to know, like, okay, if we are who we pretend to be, and I want to be, say like a world-renowned author, if I start pretending to be a world-renowned author for long enough, I'm probably gonna start doing what a world-renowned author would do every day. I'm gonna start dressing like a world-renowned author would dress every day. I'm gonna start thinking like a world-renowned author would think every day. And then after long enough, if you're doing the things that they would do, if you're saying the things that they would do, if you're thinking the things that they would do, like one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be a world-renowned author. And I do actually believe that we have the power to create our own future.
Yeah.
Like what you and I, where we are today, is a result. It didn't just happen to us.
Yeah.
Periwinkle didn't just fall out of the sky and like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like we've created, you
True.
know?
Yeah, we do. We do. Growing up, I mean, I'm still not that old, but growing up, I have learned we do have. I think when you're in high school, you think you have so much control over your life, like just because everything's been pretty easy up until high school, I feel like, or at least our experience, you know. So you think about college and you think about all the things you're going to do, not all the things you could do.
Yeah.
There's really no question as to whether or not you're going to succeed or not. And then somewhere along the line between high school and graduating college, all this self-doubt starts to come in.
Yeah.
And you get your first job and you start thinking, well, maybe I won't end up getting to do what I've always wanted to do because I'm not good enough, you know?
Yeah.
But what you're saying is, we need to get back to our roots of just living the life that we want to live, and eventually it will become no longer pretending and it'll be just who you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna throw out another example real quick. Say you're out there and you want to be like a big shot venture capitalist or a big shot equity investor, a private equity investor. It was something like this, okay? Like a important finance person. If you start dressing in a suit and tie every day and you look sharp as hell and you start reading the things that person would read, if you start studying the famous people in that line of work, you start doing what they would do, like people are gonna start perceiving you a different way, and they're gonna start treating you a different way. You're gonna be the guy that knows his stuff, that knows what's going on, that looks the part, and eventually, like, I just, people are gonna start treating you like who you're pretending to be. And so I do think that like opportunities start creating themselves to start being that person. Personally, I think there's something to this quote. I don't necessarily know what it is or how it works, but I definitely believe that like we have the power, we do have the power to create our own future and to change the way that people perceive us, and that will also start to change the opportunities we have in our lives.
Yeah, I think, and what you just said, how people perceive us, I think that that plays a huge role in how we also perceive ourselves.
Yeah.
So, and just the fact alone, if you pretend to be, I don't know, what's that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? It's a real story where he pretends to be a pilot, and then he just starts, catch me if you can. He starts dressing like a pilot. This is a true story, guys. This guy, he was into counterfeit and stuff.
That's a freaking great
He starts pretending to be this person and he's not, and he eventually literally becomes that exact person.
Yeah.
He becomes a pilot, and it's because people perceived him as that, so nobody asked questions. So then he started to perceive himself as that. And then it became no longer a fraudulent act, and it was just who he was before he got caught.
He dressed like a pilot, looked like a pilot, thought like a pilot, talked like a pilot.
Got his money just like a pilot, went to the same banks as the pilots.
I mean, this might sound like a silly topic and a silly example, but I think that if you're out there and you think life just happens to you and it's just gonna happen one day and you're not gonna have you don't have an active role in creating your future, I think that's small-minded thinking.
Yeah. For all you Hamilton fans out there, there are two types of people in the world. There are Alexander Hamiltons and there are Aaron Burrs. And Aaron Burr was famous for his song, Wait For It. But life ain't that way. You can't wait for it. You gotta get out there and seize what you want.
All right, so let's bring it full circle. How are you feeling about, are we really who we pretend to be after we've talked about it? What's your gut telling you? Don't bullshit us.
I think there's something to it. I do think there's something to it. I mean, it's the whole reason why actors, like the guy that died, played the Joker, what's his name? Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
He pretended to be, and like really took on his role as the Joker, that he actually became him in real life. He started using drugs and like going crazy, and he died from it.
Yeah.
So I really do think there's something to who we pretend to be. It does end up becoming who you are. It's no longer pretending. If you pretend to be a jerk all the time sarcastically, guess what? You're not a jerk. Or you're not pretending, you just are a jerk. You're mean to people.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I after talking through it in my head, I think there's a lot to it.
Yeah. I'm on the same page. I believe in this. Law of attraction stuff, it gets a little woo-woo-y. It's pretty controversial. People think you're a little crazy if you believe in it. But I think that there's a lot more going on in our world than we're aware of. I do think that we have the power to create our own future. I choose to believe that. Because I'm not willing to accept like that. I'm just,
they have no say.
I have no ability to change my life or script my life or paint my own canvas, if you will.
Paint my own canvas, color my own rainbow.
Color my own rainbow. Taste the rainbow.
Taste the rainbow.
That's all we have, people.
Who are you pretending to be? That's the question. And we hope your answer is something good.
Yep. If Kurt Vonnegut knew what he was talking about, then it is law that we are who we pretend to be. So be careful who you're pretending to be. Because if you do it long enough, you're gonna wake up one day and you're gonna be that person. Boom! Boom!